another video. We doing some. Candace Owens is calling out Rabbi Shmuley. I don't like him. Piers Morgan.
She made a definitive statement. She admitted she had no source. She had.
First of all, before he start bullshitting, roll up. All right.
To then use her computer. It's absurd that she has a computer during this debate.
But she was right
because she had to look it up. 1 second.
But
now,
she was right.
Now she's saying that over an 11-month war. No, we don't know that she's right because your fact checkers haven't checked it, and my fact checkers haven't checked it. But let's just go back for a moment.
Should criticism of Israel's war in Gaza be treated as legitimate political debate, or does it cross the line into anti-Semitism? Piers Morgan moderates one of his most explosive discussions yet.
Like, why do everything that has to do with the J people got to be anti-Semitic? Like, we're literally calling out you killing people, and you're calling that anti-Semitic. But then if we be like, oh yeah, the Muslims are killing you, y'all want us to give us trophies and agreements. So that Islamic? Talk about them, anti-Islamic? I'm like, man, y'all just call everything against anything bad about a Jewish person or the Jewish community considered anti-Semitic. Like, that's why people are not liking y'all no more. Like, getting to the point with the Jewish community, it becoming dangerous. Because it's like, it's not becoming dangerous as in, oh yeah, just a small group of people trying to start a cult or a group trying to attack us. No, you have government officials, reporters, multiple cultures who have different views, but they all have different views of each other, but all can agree against you. That's dangerous. Like, you're becoming, the community of the Jewish community is becoming unsafe for them because of situations like this.
As Candace Owens and Rabbi Shmuley clash over Gaza, Zionism, and accusations of anti-Semitism, what begins as a debate over the war quickly turns into a relentless exchange of fact checks, personal accusations, and moral confrontations that neither side is willing to back down from. As the discussion unfolds, the exchanges become increasingly heated. Let's get into it.
It is very important to understand that, he does support Israel, and he has reaffirmed his support for Israel. And you can imagine that within any family, you have disagreements about things, but fundamentally, it's all love, and it's good for us to have these conversations. Prior to him posting the statement, I had just gotten back from vacation with him. Literally 48 hours earlier, there was something incredibly demonic about a person trying to use the Bible at the beginning of his statement, as he did, trying to quote scripture and immediately following it up by trying to pull a family apart. I mean, that is utterly unholy. And I think the question of holiness and what is holy is relevant to this discussion. I think this is a conversation that a lot of people are having as well. Look, prior to October 7th, I don't think many people were engaged with what is happening in Israel. We kind of all said the same thing. Israel is our friend and ally. I count myself among those people.
I remember, bro, like before October 7th, bro, it was like a couple years ago. Like, I just remember, I don't remember exactly what happened on October 7th, but I do remember there was a time around like that winter, that autumn winter, where Israel was just like trending. They were just fucking trending. And I'm like, damn, they're trending about. I had no idea about Palestine. I had no idea about what was going on in Gaza. I didn't know what was going on until I read that shit. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Went all over Twitter, all over X, which is everywhere. And that's what got me to X. That what got me to the politics stuff. But before even that happened, it's Israel still wasn't like people ain't really talk about it, but you was really into politics or around it. I was only really around it because my brother, so I was kind of around it. And but now it's getting to a point where, like, bro, back then we all used to rock with Israel. Like, we didn't care. We've been like, oh yeah, Israel. Oh, we've been like, somebody about I'd say about 5 to about like 6 years ago would have been like, oh yeah, Israel's our sister country and we supply their military, we give them aid. We've been like, oh, okay, that's cool, that's fine. They're like our sister, because we thought Europe was like that. We thought like Europe was like our like really closest ally. Well, I did. So I'm like, okay. So I've been like, so a lot of people have probably been like, oh, cool, we supply Israel, we give them weapons and stuff. We help them out. Okay, cool. I mean, our economy fine. We have the extra money. Now it's like, bro, what's going on? Because our economy is crashing. Israel? They're doing what? We give them what? They doing Now everybody's looking into it. And it's like, at first people was like, oh no, you're anti-Semitic. But then, so economy kept getting worse. Economy kept getting worse and worse and worse. Israel kept talking. United States, Trump kept talking. And the situation, I think what really happened was they expected to beat Iran really fast. They couldn't beat Iran. That's what it was. Iran didn't submit. It was supposed to be a quick operation. In and out. Like Venezuela. In and out. Talk about it. They mad for about people are mad for a week or two. Economy back normal. Nope. Same thing what Ukraine did to Russia. Nope. You're not coming in and out. Yep. It'll be a long battle. That's what's going on. So, yep. Israel's now going to a bad light.
Post October 7th, the world, and especially I would say Zionists in media, were demanding that we all pay attention. And when we began to pay attention, we didn't like what we saw. You cannot tell me to ever feel comfortable with 18,000 children being ruthlessly murdered. You can't get me to feel comfortable as a Christian with the amount of more explosives dropped, tons of explosives dropped on Gaza than were dropped in Hiroshima. This doesn't make sense to me. Gaza is 30 miles long, 7 miles wide. It's incredibly dense population. And this is, by the way, according to her.
Bro, it's 30 miles long? Gaza is 30 miles long, only 7 miles wide? That's so tiny? I'm from the United States. That's tiny. And they had more bombs dropped on them than Hiroshima. Crazy.
That 40,000 Palestinians have been murdered. I believe they're getting those numbers from the Gaza Health Ministry. And here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture, okay? The one that's relevant to me is woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. And if you'd like to dive into a little more scripture, I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley. The fact that you would try to say, I am Jewish, and this is what I believe, and do and say the things that you are doing. People can see and hear evil, and what you...
Hey, I always say it. I said Candace is very attractive. And the reason why I say Candace is very attractive is because of the way she stands by her shit. And she does it in such a respectful manner. And she doesn't, like, she really calling bro out. Like, she's calling him out, calling him a liar, pretty much calling him demonic. That's literally what she's doing. But she's doing it in such a respectful, stern, like, it's like a respectful, stern, but, like, ease way. And she's not breaking eye contact. There's no neck throwing, there's no attitude. There's nothing of, like, what the media can say a typical black woman will act like. She's pretty much doing she's pretty much going against the media. It's like you can't she's calling you out, but I'm not doing it in a way you're gonna make me look like a crazy ass black woman. And then so in this situation, that's why she's getting a lot of respect, because it's like, bro, like she on your head. She on your head in a way we understand, like, nigga, we know. Shit, she on your head in a ghetto way, real talk. But in the public eye view, on the big stage, you will never catch it. But if you know, you know. She on his head.
You are doing right now is an act of evil. The lies that you are telling, not just on me, but also on my family members, are a good example for the world to see what we are referring to when we call something radical Zionism.
Okay, Rabbi Shmuley.
Okay, and okay, thank you. And of course, Pierce, there was nothing ad hominem about my being demonic. This is a tool.
She got this nigga stuttering, bro. He's stuttering, like he can't even get his words out. Like she said what she said, she stopped. Morgan Pierce? Morgan was like, okay, Rabbi, your turn. She got quiet. He got the floor. He's stuttering. The nigga over here shaking and stuttering like, He can't get it out because, yeah, what she said is true. It's true. The nigga's tripping. He over here stuttering and shit.
Against one debate, I expected that.
It's not a two against one debate.
And I will.
Now he playing victim. Now it's a 2 versus 1 debate. Morgan Pierce ain't say shit. Piers Morgan ain't he ain't say a word. He just sitting there. He ain't say a word. Now Rabbi got called out. Now he playing victim. And guess who do that a lot? The J community. They do it a lot. All through history. Everything was theirs first. 14,000 years ago. Everything was there first. Man.
Excuse me, no, it's a 2 against 1
You've
debate.
made no attempt to answer my questions.
No. Piers.
See, now he about to argue with Pierce. The conversation between him and Candace, now he's trying to argue with Pierce? Pierce didn't do anything. It's crazy.
Pierce, let me
has been trying to...
This gaslight is insane.
Candace just said...
You're not.
Candace just said... Candace, filth, demonic. There's nothing ad hominem about that. You are correct. You're right, Pierce.
Raising Cane's is celebrating National Chicken Finger Day.
No, it's not. All she did was read you a script or some shit. I think she read you a scripture. And so she said she's talking to you, but she's reading you a scripture and explaining it. She ain't call you it, but hey, if the shoe fit.
Just said that Israel dropped more bombs on Gaza than on Hiroshima. Hiroshima was an atomic bomb, Candace. You know, why don't you just read Wikipedia? Israel has nuclear weapons. They've never used them, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Now let's look at Israel's...
He knows what she's talking about. I don't think she's talking about as in like bomb, as in like, okay, yeah, you drop one versus multiple. I think the amount of explosives, for example, a nuke. Do not quote me on this. Some people be like, yeah, like a nuclear bomb is equivalent to like, I don't know, 4,000 ballistic bombs or some shit like that. So if Israel dropped 5,000 ballistic bombs, technically they dropped enough bomb power of a nuclear bomb, an additional 1,000 ballistic missiles. That's, I think, what she means. Yeah.
Justified defense. Israel admits, and even Hamas admits, to a 1-to-1 civilian to combatant ratio of civilian casualties, which is a tragedy. It shouldn't even be 1. But remember, Hamas fires their rockets from nurseries. The United States and Afghanistan had a 4-to-1 ratio of civilians murdered for every 1 combatant. In the Korean War, it was 5-to-1. In Iraq, it was at least 2-to-1. Israel has the lowest per capita ratio of combatants to civilians. Candace should acknowledge that. That is what we call a fact.
But you should hang on. You should also acknowledge then that there is a unique demographic in Gaza where of the 2 million people who live there, half of them are under 18. So that's a very different demographic to any of the other scenarios you're talking about. That is what's caused so much international opprobrium against Israel, is the fact that so many children, pro rata in the civilian death count, have been killed. It's that people are so exercised about, and rightly, because what's happened here is obvious. Hamas, yes, they've embedded themselves in civilian territory. Yes, they've built all these tunnels. None of these things are to be disputed. But the problem with going after Hamas in the way that Israel has been doing is that the collateral damage, as they would put it, to so many thousands of children has now tested the patience of the world to a degree that vast quantities of the world are against it and want this to stop. That's the reality.
I think that's a very fair question. You know, and I don't like whataboutism. But Candace Owens never spoke out once against Bashar al-Assad, who killed 600,000 Arabs, and he actually gassed to death children. He targeted them with mustard and poison gas. You remember that President Obama said that's a red line, and then he gave it to Putin to get rid of those weapons of mass destruction.
Which was completely
God bless
wrong,
President Trump, who actually... Wait, just a second. Just President Trump, God bless him.
Like, it's like... Pierre Morgan was like, okay, yeah, that's wrong. Okay, we're not saying that's right. We're not saying any of that. We're talking about what's going on right now. The situation that's going on right now. We're not talking about nobody else. We don't care that we didn't talk about Genghis Khan. We ain't talking about what happened in Afghanistan 4 years ago. We don't care that we're not talking about what happened 3 days ago. We're talking about the topic of Israel and Gaza. That's what we're talking about. And he's moving goalposts. And I hate when people do that. So it's like girl A can eat a cheeseburger. Girl B eat a cheeseburger. Girl C eat a cheeseburger. But the teacher just somehow told girl C, why do you eat a cheeseburger? Girl C get mad like, well, why are you asking me? You ain't asked girl A and B. Who gives a fuck? I'm asking you. You're adding other things into the conversation. I'm asking you. Don't worry about the other shit. Worry about you. And that's how situations can be avoided. You feel me? That shit.
Actually fired 59 cruise missiles when Assad did that. It's funny because people say that President Trump is anti-Muslim. He's the only one who protected Muslim life. Pierce, Hamas has ruled since 2006. They won an election jointly with the PA. They took the Palestinian Authority representatives and threw them off of rooftops. They then subjected the Palestinians, 1.5 million Palestinians of Gaza, to the most ruthless persecution that we've ever seen. They stole all their money. Ismail Haniyeh, who was assassinated in Tehran, is worth $4 billion. Now he's fighting with Erdogan, his kids, over who's going to inherit that. Khalid Mashal is worth $3 billion. You and I both know that the Palestinians of Gaza got triple the amount per capita, prorated for our times, of the Marshall Plan. All of that money was stolen to build tunnels. There isn't one bomb shelter. The reason why people are dying in Gaza is because that money was used to buy penthouses in Doha, Qatar. There isn't one bomb shelter from Hamas. Hamas shoots and murders anyone who challenges their authority. They were elected in 2006 to a 4-year term. It's now 20 years later. Hamas specifically, and that's why they're being condemned by the Palestinians right now. They want Palestinian children to die because the more they die, the more you will condemn me and Israel. But let's remember, Pierce, your parents are part of the greatest generation.
Whoa. Wow. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Hamas is killing their own people so the world can condone Israel. Now, who did that sound like? Who did that sound like? That sound like them. You know how many false flag attacks Israel and the United States commit on their own people? All the time. Bruh, Palestine is damn near gone. Gaza is flat. Hamas don't have people to kill. They don't even have troops. They don't have enough. They're scavenging for shit. Like, they're not the one posted. They're not the ones posting in videos of that. It's not them doing it. They might have some floating around, but it's really y'all posting videos. We seen what y'all saying. Like, bro, I follow so many Israelites and Zionists and Jewish accounts, and I would see what they post, and I'd be like, bro, do y'all not know what y'all posting? Like, y'all retweeting a bomb being dropped on a Palestinian family, and then the dude would be like, yeah, kill them, they're housing Hamas. So the 12-year-old girl walking with a jug of water with her mom is in the desert is housing Hamas? Like, that's not making sense to me. Do you drop a missile? Like, bro, like, come on, man.
Winston Churchill was told by the Americans, don't bomb Germany.
Then what makes it even crazy, even when the United States dropped both nukes on Japan and they came back home, the American citizens didn't applaud them. They didn't, congratulate. We didn't celebrate. They shamed them. The troops got shamed so bad when they got home from bombing Japan. Even though we won the war, they were shamed. It was shamed. Israelites people don't shame. Or the Zionists are not shaming. They're congratulating. It's crazy. It's sickening.
Cities, Hamburg, Dresden, etc., during at night, you can't see what you're bombing. Do what we Americans have, which is precision daytime bombing. And Churchill said, no, my pilots are more important. We need the RAF.
All right.
And he flattened German cities. And he is considered today the greatest British statesman of the 20th century because he felt he had.
He's speaking bullshit. It appears Morgan getting mad. All right, you see Candace start laughing because he's speaking bullshit.
By the way, the flattening of cities like Dresden was widely condemned at the time, including by many people in Britain, and led to the establishment of the Geneva Convention.
Dresden was Dresden was the last month of the war, but before that, Hamburg and everything else was not condemned.
It led to the establishment of the Geneva Convention after World War II, specifically to stop that kind of thing happening again. So I'm glad you raised that example. Candace, you've got over 3 minutes.
So do you condemn Winston Churchill as a war criminal for Dresden?
No, absolutely not. No.
Yep, real shit.
Why not? You just said that it was wrong.
I was
condemn Winston Churchill as a war criminal for Dresden? Please, you said not, but why?
If you're both going to ask...
You see how he's deflecting? He's mad. He's angry. He's never acknowledging what he said wrong or what he did wrong. He just keep going back to you, but you did. Never acknowledging what they do. That's how a lot of arguments start.
To the same question, let me be clear. Winston Churchill was not a war criminal, right? But some of the ways that
Why not? He bombed Dresden and killed 25,000 people.
Yeah, he also saved the world from Adolf Hitler and the Nazis.
Oh, he saved the world. So Israel's saving the Middle East from Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Iran.
But it's not, though.
No, you're not.
Israel's not doing that.
No, you're not. You're not saving anybody. Nobody asked you to do shit. No, they're not. Israel not saving the Middle East. No, you're not. Like that, and that's a crazy gaslight. Oh, well, will you call a fucking war criminal? No. Because he saved the world from. Oh yeah, Israel's saving the world too. If Pierre Morgan would have been like, well, yeah, he's a war criminal, then he would be like, okay, then why aren't you supporting us? We doing the same thing he's doing. He's gaslighting. He's trying to put you gaslighting.
Thank you for answering my question. Well, case closed.
All right, let me go to Candace.
If I could just interject here, just to respond to that, I was going to say exactly what you said, Piers. Like Dresden was considered a Holocaust. It was, in fact, a war crime. And there should be debates about what happened in Dresden. It was absolutely horrific that a bunch of Christians were skipping off, on the eve of Ash Wednesday. And then they were quite literally reduced to ashes. It is wrong. And the fact that you are having to reference a war crime to justify what's happening in Gaza is not a point for you. It's
crazy. He thinks that's a point. He thought he was eating with that shit. Oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. Case closed. He's sitting on chest high, head high up. Case closed. He thought he got something. And it's like, bro, no, you didn't win anything, nigga. You're comparing what's going on in Gaza to another genocide. Thank you. You're comparing a genocide to another genocide. Thank you. Yeah, you're admitting to it. Thank you, dumbass, dummy, idiot. Like, there's a lot of people who are narcissists and dumbasses are idiots because they think they always want something, but in reality, nigga, you sound dumb.
Completely awful. When people say, oh, well, look at what we did. Look at all these other horrific things we did. Why do you care about this horrible thing that's happening? I don't even understand that logic. It's completely ridiculous. Look, there is no person in good conscience who should be comfortable with the amount of death that's happening in Gaza. And yes, if you are going to correlate it to Dresden, that would be a fair comparison, except much more has been dropped on Gaza than was dropped in Dresden. So is it fair to call what's happening in Gaza a Holocaust? Is that what we're looking after when you have this nonstop on?
You said dumb. Look like a dumbass. Watch his whole face change.
From breakfast to afternoon snacks, post-workout recovery, and everything in.
Look, there is no.
Okay, look. So Candace about to start. He's sitting his chest high and mighty. Watch how his whole face change. What she say?
No person in good conscience who should be comfortable with the amount of death that's happening in Gaza. And yes, if you are going to correlate it to Dresden, that would be a fair comparison, except much more has been dropped on Gaza than was dropped in Dresden. So is it fair to call what's happening in Gaza a Holocaust? Is that what we're looking after when you have this nonstop onslaught? And it's completely ridiculous to say, oh, well, this is happening because of Hamas. Let's be very clear. It is happening because the Israeli government will not stop bombing them, okay? So you had a very sympathetic audience all around the world, myself included, when October 7th happened. There was not a single person that should or could justify the terrorist act that was enacted by Hamas.
Yep.
But the collective punishment that is being assigned to the Gazans, the Palestinians living in Gaza, is also unacceptable.
Yep.
And the entire world should condemn it, and it should be made to stop. And I do believe that a radical fringe has taken hold of Israel. And further evidence of that, by the way, is that we are not even allowed to critique Israel without having people like Rabbi Shmuley, which I never said he threatened to murder me, but he has threatened me for 2 years, essentially trying to bully people into their belief that they have a right.
You never said that I threatened to murder you? We're going to post
No, I never said that you threatened to murder me. Don't cut me off. I did not cut you off.
Okay, I will not cut you off. Go ahead, please.
I did not cut you off, okay?
Go ahead.
The point is that now what's happening across America is that you have Zionist organizations that are threatening and bullying people because people are taking a stance against this act against humanity. What they're doing is inhumane in Palestine.
It's crazy too. Crazy fuck because I'll post like my YouTube shorts. Some of my YouTube shorts got taken down because I criticized Israel. And in YouTube text messaged me and talking about, yeah, we took him down, but we're not gonna strike you with anything. You just went against our community guidelines, and we just gonna remove the videos. And I'm like, bro, because I'm criticizing Israel, but if I criticize Iran, Iraq, I get all the Middle Eastern countries, or the United States, or Australia, or Asia, all my shit can stay up. But when it comes to Israel, my shit get taken down. It's crazy. Like it's crazy how they're trying. It's crazy with the silencing they're doing, and like they're just it's making people not like them. And that's really what it is. It's like, bro, like if I feel like people wouldn't hate Israel as much if Israel just let people criticize them and not keep trying to play victim. Like we're seeing what y'all doing. You can't keep hiding it.
Palestine. And so what they're doing is they're saying this person should get fired. This person should lose their job. The Zionist Federation of Australia just asked for me to have my visa banned simply because I don't support what Israel is doing. And if that is what I have to pay, if ultimately what happens, I get my visa banned because Zionism has a lot of money in media, then so be it. It's less of a price than the children in Gaza are paying right now. And as a Christian, I will never support what Bibi Netanyahu is doing.
Right, and what's interesting to me, Rabbi Shmuley...
May I respond?
Hang on. Yes, but let me just say again the question I put to you earlier. It's not just people outside Israel who are now heavily criticizing Netanyahu and his government. It is people inside Israel in massive numbers. And so my question for you is...
Hey, now, hold on. See, I have yet to see somebody on the inside of Israel criticize him. I ain't saying it's impossible, but I have yet to see it, and that's what I mean. The censorship in Israel is so crazy. They probably do post that shit, but it's so hard to find it, people don't see it. Because it's coming from the inner banks of Israel. So you just gotta be in tap with that shit. And Piers Morgan in tap with that shit. And he got it. He find it. That's crazy.
Why? Why are so many people inside Israel taking to the streets to demand that Netanyahu stop this war?
No, they never said he should stop the war. They said there should be a ceasefire to release the hostages because Israel is a cult. Don't interrupt me, please, Candace. Because Israel is a culture of life. And that's why Israel got into this mess for October 7th. They traded 1,000 murderers, including Yahya Sinwar, who Israel saved at Soroka Hospital in Beersheba when he had a brain tumor. The Hamas Hitler, who's the architect of October 7th, Israel saved his life. It's a culture of life, even for Palestinian murderers. They traded 1,000 for Gilad Shalit. You remember that. And now a whole group is saying, even if it leads to another October 7th, I need my children home. I understand that. Pierce, I have 2 sons fighting in this war. I understand the dangers that are being faced. No one's saying to stop the war, not to destroy Hamas. They're saying, call a ceasefire to release the hostages because of their execution. But I must respond. First of all, Candace just said that Israel dropped more bombs on Gaza than on Dresden. What's your source for that? Do you know that in Dresden, there were 1,000 Lancaster bombers sent over 2 nights by Churchill, and then 800 American, that's 1,800 bombs. What's your source that Israel dropped more than on Dresden?
So it's just interesting because you realize that you use Dresden as an example to justify
answer the
what was
question.
happening
You
in
just
Israel.
made Pierce. This is
I
deflection.
said more tons
you
of
said that Israel. You just made a blood libel against the Jewish state. Dresden
We
was
can't keep doing
1,000
this.
Lancaster
We can't keep doing
bombers
this.
over
And
2
this
nights.
gets into,
I am asking you, what is your source?
This is getting very
boring. The answer. Okay, don't interrupt me, please. The answer is Pierce. It's my turn. Correct. Pierce.
Rabbi Shmuley, Rabbi Shmuley, you can't ask someone a question and then refuse to let them answer.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
So I asked for a source. I didn't ask for a
question.
It is
We've heard the
absolutely
question.
absurd.
Candace.
I'm going to respond to what you are saying. This tactic of when anybody brings up anything that Israel is doing is wrong, you get to just scream blood libel and anti-Semitism.
Don't interrupt her.
Oh my gosh, it's a blood libel. It is not a blood libel to talk about the amount of death and the tons of explosives that have been dropped on the civilians in Palestine.
She said she's going to answer it.
Okay, that is not a blood libel against
You
Jewish
said
people.
that Israel
This is such a
dropped more
nasty
on
and
Gaza than
perverted
Dresden.
tactic,
What is your
which
source?
essentially says I don't have to debate anymore because I get to just call everybody a person who's accusing me of blood libels. Okay, truly, what is happening right now is that the blood of Palestinians is being shed. Okay, that is not a libel against the Jews. That is a fact and a reality against Bibi Netanyahu and this government, which has gone extreme in their response to October 7th. So stop this tactic.
Understood. Pierce, can I now have my turn again? All I asked was the source. Clearly, she has none. It was invented out of whole cloth. That's what a blood libel is. A blood libel is when Candace Owens says that the actual medieval blood libel, that Jews killed Christians and drank their blood,
I will
she
pull up the
actually
source for you.
believes that. Please don't interrupt me.
I will
she
find
actually
you the
says
source.
that there were Christian bodies found all over Europe. When she said that I am not trying to kill her, we will post right after this, where she said it at least on 8 occasions. That's why she's being investigated by the FBI. Because you can lie about me, you can call me filth, and Pierce won't, and you can call me psychotic. I've never said that about you.
At Alliance Virtual Offices, we speak your language. We offer...
I think it's insane how victim play, bro, it's insane.
What you can't do is incite violence against my family. You have repeatedly said I'm trying to kill you. You said the Jews killed JFK. You said if the Jews killed JFK,
you said all this
and we couldn't protect the president. Okay, wait one second.
Can we get back to the debate
for a moment? Let's just go back for a moment. No, Pierce, I have to respond to things.
Would you like a
when
source?
Candace says that it is demonic.
You wanted the source from Candace.
I never got.
You
I
wanted
never,
the
I never got between.
Rabbi Shmuley, you wanted the source from Candace. I think she has one. Well, why don't you let her answer? I think she has one.
Let me fact check this source as well. So 70,000
Yes, I want to see where Israel dropped more bombs on Gaza than Dresden.
70,000 tons of explosive have been dropped on the Gaza Strip. Let's see how many tons of explosives were dropped on Dresden. 1 second.
You mean she said it and now she's fact-checking it? You're kidding me, right?
Well, you're asking me to give you the direct source live, and I'm going to look it up for you, so give me 1 second.
I don't have a computer on me. I don't have a computer on me. This is ridiculous.
Let her finish.
This is a cheat sheet.
This
This
is
is absurd.
Bro, oh my gosh. He just said, bruh, he just said, find me a source. She didn't have a source, right? Had none. He's, oh yeah, look, that what bloodline mean? She has no source. Now he think he got the W. He's talking, going, trying to repeat shit. She comes back like, okay, I have a source. She gives a source. He turns around and says, oh, but she didn't fact check it before this? Oh, she didn't previously already have it down? I don't have a computer in front of me. What does you have a computer in front of you going to change anything? She didn't ask you to look anything up. She didn't ask you to fact check anything. So there is no comparison there. You're asking her to fact check. So pretty much you're telling her she needs a device. She needs to have a list to look shit up. She's not telling you to look shit up. You're telling her to find shit. Again, playing victim.
Let her answer the question.
Go ahead.
Candace.
So 2,700 tons of bombs were dropped on Dresden in an 800 bomber air raid. And that is according to Britannica, the encyclopedia.
And what was the
source.
tonnage of bombs dropped in Gaza?
In Gaza, it was 70,000 tons of explosives were dropped in the Gaza Strip, and I got that from CNN.
Through the duration of the war today?
Okay.
Is that the timescale?
Yes.
Okay. So Rabbi Shmuley,
which
that would
they're
seem to
saying
be
has surpassed
So let's be clear.
Dresden,
So over
Hamburg, and
11
London
months,
during World War II.
she's comparing an 11-month war to a single night in Dresden. That's clearly absurd. I'm glad that she has her cheat.
So then he was like, he's saying it fact check that. He's saying she was wrong. Now she's right. Now it's, a single night versus, blah, 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 blah. But all them bombs dropped in a single night's insane, too. And all the bombs being dropped now is still insane. It doesn't matter how long it was. It's still crazy.
Cheat her computer in front of her. But notice, she made this
Well, you called it a blood libel.
not knowing what she was talking
what
about.
she
Just a
said.
moment, please.
Hang on. What she said, to be clear, was that the Israeli.
It's also in the New York Times.
The Israeli Defense Force had dropped more bombs on Gaza than were dropped on Dresden. That is true. Do you accept that, Rabbi Shmuley?
You know, Pierce. I find
Would you
this
accept
that? Yes or no? Yes
You
or
asked-
no?
Wait. First of all, first of all, I don't. Wait. What do you mean it's true? Because she said it's true?
No, do you accept
you
that's
have fact
true?
checkers?
The New York Times says it's true.
Is this a serious show? Wait. Every time I try to speak,
You asked for a source. You called it a blood libel. You asked for a source. Fortunately, we had time to look it up.
Excuse me, you are interrupting me,
bro.
She made it.
She had the floor. This nigga is insanely annoying. Oh my God. Hey, y'all, you know what? Hey, bro. Hey, please like and subscribe. I need to get following these up so I can argue with niggas like this. Because this is insane. This is insane. This is a lot of shit he's doing I can easily call out. This is incredibly insane. And I'm liking Piers Morgan more. Because he's letting him be a fool, but he's also like hitting him with hard questions like, bro, it's yes or no. You're dodging shit. You're dipping and dodging. So like I respect Piers Morgan. I don't agree with all the shit he say, all the shit he do, but yeah, a lot of the stuff he's doing, like a lot of the way he hosts his podcast and the way he talk and ask questions, I agree with it. I agree. I respect it.
Definitive statement. She admitted she had no source. She had to then use her computer. It's absurd that she has a computer during this debate.
But she was
right
because she had to look it up. One second.
But
now,
she was right.
Now she's saying that over an 11-month war.
Right,
no,
though.
we don't know that she's right because your fact checkers haven't checked it, and my fact checkers haven't checked it. But let's just go back for a moment. Israel was attacked in the most savage way, and women were gang raped, their breasts were cut off. Candace recently had a guest on who even denies that women were raped. Now she's saying it's in the New York Times. She said the other day that the New York Times lied and fabricated about the mass rape of women. She had the former press secretary of Bernie Sanders who denies that. Now she suddenly likes the New York Times. You are speaking to the #1 critic of the New York Times in America. And by the way, this is a typical thing. Candace will say there's no racism in America. Then she will sue, which she did, the Stanford, Connecticut Board of Education for a $40,000 settlement against racism. She then went on a show and fabricated and said it wasn't a settlement, it was actually for tutors for 1 month. You tell me which tutors are paid $40,000 per month. She will say that I have no right to bring up her family. First of all, I didn't. It was her own father-in-law who condemned her. But she can bring up Brigitte Macron. She can bring up Emmanuel. She can destroy their marriage. Obsess, and you were very good on that, Pierce, challenging her.
Bro.
She can destroy other people's marriage.
This dude is going bro, he took the goalpost out the damn stadium at this point. Like, bro, he's so off topic, it's insane. Like, he's just talking shit about her now. He's just talking shit. He's not even he's not even arguing with the bombs and tons. He's not even arguing the topic. He's just talking shit about her. Like, bro, stay on topic. Argue and say, no, we didn't drop as much, or it was a one night, or this is a long, or no, we only dropped a certain amount because this time frame and how long it was, blah, blah. He's not even arguing any of that. He's arguing it. He's just talking shit. Like, he's just talking shit.
And you know what's also interesting?
But hang on.
The day after. Wait.
Don't just keep talking.
One final point. The day after October 7th, she said nothing for a few days, never condemned it.
Yeah.
And when you asked her on the show, she said, "Pierce, I never talk about anything international." Is Brigitte Macron an American?
But
so she can speak about the genitals of the First Lady of France for months, but not condemn the gang rape of Jewish women?
I've already said to Candace, I don't believe a word of the Brigitte Macron thing. What I would say about what you've just quoted Lord Farmer as saying, you said that he condemned Candace in the statement he put on X. He didn't condemn her. I've just read it again, and there's no condemnation of his daughter-in-law. He simply set
You're
out...
kidding. Read the first line.
In view of public comments from a high-profile member of my family, I want to put my own views on anti-Semitism and Israel's current military campaign in Gaza on public record. Where's the condemnation?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So where's the condemnation?
Thank you. So let's get the timeline. Candace says she was on vacation
Where did he condemn
with her father-in-law 2 days before. Wait,
Where did he condemn her?
You and I can read between the lines on any press
statement.
Oh
my God!
She says, in view of a high-profile...
I've just shown you he didn't condemn her.
He absolutely condemned her.
No, he didn't.
He doesn't once say, it's my daughter-in-law, Candace, and I love her, but we disagree. Number two, he went on to say that Israel has every right. He was distancing himself for her repulsive future and reptilian anti-Semitism.
No, he gave his own opinion.
Why did he start by saying, in light of a high-profile member of my family?
He gave his own opinion. He didn't condemn her.
Because she's a high-profile member of his family. That's why he said, in light of the high-profile member of my family. That's not condoning. My brother is a celebrity, a superstar. That's like me saying the high-class member of my family, which would be my brother. I just saying it while saying his name.
I didn't even name her.
He distanced himself from Candace.
Let me ask Candace a different question, which is this. Candace, why is it, do you think, that so many people in the Jewish community believe that you are anti-Semitic?
I think that's actually a very good question. And just to go back, I'm going to answer your question. I just want to make sure people are recognizing, because he said a lot of stuff there, he's not able to counter. He essentially tried to hold me to looking up the sources. We've now found the sources, and it's the BBC, it's the New York Times, and it is the Euromed Human Rights Monitor.
We have found no sources, and we'll fact check it afterward. You looked it up during the show. I'm sorry.
70,000 bombs were dropped on Gaza, and per the BBC, the British aircraft dropped 4,000 tons of bombs on Dresden. So just for clarity,
in a single night, not 11 months. In a single night, correct.
Please don't cut me off. I have not cut you off. He called that a blood libel because that is a strategy, which is meant to just distract people from the truth or looking into it. So you say everything you say is a blood libel. Now, to answer your question, Piers, I think that's a very good question. And the answer for that is because the media as an entity has been basically mining Jewish pain, the history of their pain, by taking people out of context and presenting things that are as a fact that is simply untrue, things that I've never said. We are watching right now, and that's why I'm grateful for you to provide this opportunity. You are watching Rabbi Shmuley do this live, right? When we talk about yelling,
it's like he doing this shit live. Like he deflecting, rejecting narcissism live.
Journalism and people that take things out of context and try to present it to people with a bunch of hysteria and go, oh my gosh, Candace said this. Oh my gosh, Candace is a Holocaust denier. Oh my gosh, he's called me all of these names, and he doesn't have a single fact in there. They just know that if they say those things, it's a trigger. It is reminiscent of exactly what was done for Black Americans for a very long time. They have now since changed their perspective on me, but for a long time they thought that I legitimately hated being Black and hated the color of my skin because I stood.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I remember when Candace very first came out and Candace very first started, a lot of the Black community was like, bro, she hate being Black. She hate her own people. Why are you dark skinned and you're the darkest kind of Black and you hate your people? In a long time, I even thought, I'm like, bro, did she not like Black people? Like, I just thought she was just a Black Republican. I'm like, man, maybe she's just a Black Republican. Maybe, but no, she don't hate Black people. All she did was just speak facts. But with the clips and with the clipping and propaganda and how the media controls shit, once you start learning that, bro, you start learning like, oh yeah, she wasn't really doing that. She wasn't really trying to talk bad about the Black community. She don't hate herself. She don't hate being Black. So yeah, what she's saying is true. It's facts.
against Black Lives Matter as an organization, and I stood against what Black Lives Matter was doing. And the media made them hysterical. She's a Black person who doesn't even want to be Black, and she's a Black white supremacist. They bought that narrative because when the media lies, a lot of people accept that what they're reading is true. But of course, I didn't hate Black Americans. I didn't hate anything other than BLM abusing and mining Black pain.
I agree with that. Yep, I don't support BLM. I don't really support Black Lives Matter. People be like, that's crazy, fuck. Like the concept of it, yes. But how y'all was supporting it and acting during that time, no.
Going back and saying, well, it's going to be just like slavery to distract people from what was ultimately just a fraudulent organization.
BRB, y'all got it real quick. Hold on.
I was actually going to bring more harms to Black Americans in the end. And that's how I feel about the state of Israel and everything they're doing. Ultimately, I believe it's going to yield more anti-Semitism. It's going to make people associate what Bibi Netanyahu is doing to all Jews around the world. And so I think it's important for them to realize it's these same exact tactics of manipulation, the same exact name calling and ad hominem attacks that is not based in fact and not based in reality, but based in not wanting to answer the fair critiques that people have about what Israel is doing. But that's a very good question.
One reason this debate struck a nerve is that it wasn't really about whether October 7th was horrific. Everyone on the panel agreed it was. The real disagreement was what comes next.
I keep saying this. Do not buy Carpe on Amazon. Do not buy Carpe on... Yeah, Carpe is one of the top-selling deodorants on Amazon. It comes in all of these premium fragrances. It's got thousands of 5-star reviews because it's the first thing to work for so many people. Carpe is a quick-drying lotion that stops...
Candace Owens argued that Israel's military response has become morally impossible to defend because of the scale of civilian suffering. Rabbi Shmuley argued that any serious discussion has to begin with Hamas, whose October 7th attack killed about 1,200 people and saw roughly 250 hostages taken into Gaza, triggering the war that followed. One of the biggest disputes was over the death toll. Rabbi Shmuley questioned figures released by Gaza's health ministry because it operates under Hamas. That's a position the Israeli government has maintained throughout the war. At the same time, the UN and many humanitarian organizations continue to use those figures, while noting that independent verification during an active war is extremely difficult. Previous conflicts have shown the ministry's overall counts were often close to later independent reviews, even though disagreements remain over how many of the dead were civilians versus fighters. That's why the argument today isn't simply about the number of deaths. It's about how those deaths are classified and interpreted. Another heated exchange centered on Candace's comparison between Gaza and Dresden. Rabbi Shmuley argued she was comparing an entire military campaign with a bombing that lasted only days. That's an important distinction. Historians generally don't judge wars by bomb tonnage alone, because duration, population density, military objectives, and weapon technology all matter. Even when two conflicts involve similar levels of destruction, they may not be directly comparable without that wider context. The legal argument is equally important. Israel says its campaign is an exercise of the right to self-defense recognized under Article 51 of the UN Charter after the October 7th attacks. Critics don't necessarily dispute Israel's right to respond. Their argument is that international humanitarian law also requires distinction between military and civilian targets, proportionality, and feasible precautions to protect civilians. Whether Israel has consistently met those obligations remains the subject of ongoing international investigations and intense legal debate, rather than a settled conclusion. The interview also exposed another issue that extends far beyond this war: the growing argument over what counts as anti-Semitism. Candace Owens claimed criticism of the Israeli government is too quickly labeled anti-Semitic. Rabbi Shmuley argued that some of her language goes beyond criticizing government policy and echoes harmful historical narratives. That same disagreement has played out across universities, political parties, media organizations, and public institutions over the last 2 years, with no widely accepted standard everyone agrees on. Perhaps the most revealing part of the discussion wasn't the exchange over numbers or historical comparisons. It was that each side measured success differently. Rabbi Shmuley viewed defeating Hamas as the priority, because he believes leaving the organization intact guarantees future attacks. Candace viewed the humanitarian cost itself as evidence that the strategy has failed, regardless of the military objective. Those aren't just different political opinions. they're different ways of deciding what victory even means. The consequences of that disagreement are already visible. International support for Israel has become increasingly divided. Governments that strongly backed Israel in the early weeks of the war have faced growing domestic pressure, and protests over Gaza have spread across universities and major cities worldwide. Inside Israel itself, many families of hostages have publicly clashed with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government over whether military pressure or negotiated ceasefires offer the best chance of bringing their loved ones home. That's why debates like this continue to draw millions of views. They aren't simply about two personalities arguing on television. They're about questions governments, journalists, and ordinary people still haven't answered.
Yep.
How should democracies fight armed groups operating inside civilian populations? When does military necessity stop justifying civilian suffering? And what standard should every country be held to when the world is watching? If you enjoyed this debate, leave a like, subscribe for more long-form political discussions, and share your thoughts below. Keep the conversation focused on facts, evidence.
Man, we will subscribe to them. But yeah, bro, I agree with Candace in the situation. I just feel like Rabbi was just deflecting the whole damn time.